I be a diamond dog?
Ted Lasso had so many fun Easter eggs and callbacks, let's break them all down. What's going on, you lovely people? Lisa here, and I am still recovering from that Ted Lasso finale. I definitely used up a bunch of tissues during that episode, and one of the main reasons is because of how good the finale was at weaving things from previous episodes into this one. So let's talk about all those Easter eggs, references, and callbacks. Now, this one isn't really an Easter egg, it's just the writers definitely trolled all of us and the ones that wanted Rebecca and Ted to hook up by having that fake out scene in the beginning, and I just wanted to know if anybody actually fell for it. Now, remember when Ted had no idea what offsides was when asked by Trent Crimm in the second episode of the show? He was just like, you know it when you see it. Well, when West Ham scores in this finale and everyone thinks it's the winning goal and Ted is just smiling and everyone's like, why are you happy? Ted's like, he was offsides, and sure enough, the player was, and Beard even pays up on the bet, but it looks like Ted is leaving actually having learned about football. Now, Trent Crimm ends up renaming his book from The Lasso Way to Richmond Way. Back in the pilot episode, Rebecca ends up telling reporters they'll be doing things the Lasso way. Now, the play that the team wins with in the final episode is the play that Nate pitched in season 1 episode 3 where they used Jamie as a decoy. Now we see Jamie reenact what Ted did to show them what to do, and having Ted mention the SP to get them, to remember what it was because he mentioned that before, was great. With Nate and Ted, when Nate jumps into Ted's arms after they win, obviously Nate's done that previously. At the end, we see that May has all her shares in AFC Richmond. She straightens a picture, and this is a reference to the series finale of Cheers when Sam straightens a photograph of Geronimo as a tribute to the actor who played Coach in the series who passed away. Now we see May straighten that same picture, and fun fact, Jason Sudeikis is George Wendt from Cheers' nephew. Also, comicbook.com also theorized that maybe the Cheers nod is also a reference into, maybe spin-offs are coming since Frasier was a popular spin-off from Cheers. Now the belief sign was always a big part of the show, but then Nate ripped it up and eventually got taken down and ripped up piece by piece and given to each of the guys. Well, in the finale, we see that each of those players actually have kept their piece, and some even keep it on them, and they piece that belief sign back together. Jamie ends up pulling his piece of the sign out of the same book that Ted gave him in season 1, episode 3. Although in that episode, we saw Jamie throw it in the trash, and we don't know if it's actually the same exact copy or if he took it out of the trash or he bought the book again. I don't really remember him digging out of the trash, but the fact that he has the book is great. A lot of you pointed out the transition in Jamie's hat, going from a hat that said icon that he wore a lot to one that says ICOG, or I, cog, which at first is like, what the heck does that mean? But when you think about it, he's just saying, I'm a cog in the machine. He is just one part of this whole team. But also with that belief sign, we see in the finale Nate gluing it back together with gold glue, making the sign kind of look like what some of you have said is a kintsugi. I'm sorry if I said that wrong, but the art of fixing pottery with gold adhesive, which represents forgiveness and the message of forgiving yourself so you can forgive others, which obviously that was a big part of the journey of season 3. Now another sign, or rather picture that gets hung up, is Roy hanging up one of his niece Phoebe's boob drawings that she couldn't stop drawing back in a previous season, but he also tapes over the nipples, just like Ted did in the pilot episode when he taped over Keely's in Jamie's locker. Now we learn that Coach Beard's first name is Willis. In season 2, episode 1, when talking about the yips, Ted says, "What you talking about, Willis?" Now we know that Ted loves Julie Andrews. He had a whole conversation with the group about their favorite Julie Andrews role. So the team performing So Long Farewell from a Julie Andrews movie, Sound of Music, is just so great. And Roy said in that Julie Andrews conversation that Maria was his favorite character of hers, and then he's singing along. It's just so great. Obviously, Jason Sudeikis got his big break on SNL, and one of his characters from the What's Up With That sketch always did kind of that Running Man dance, and I'm now just starting to think that's just one of the only dance moves Jason Sudeikis can do. But in the pilot episode, we saw Ted doing that dance, and then we see him do it in this finale after AFC Richmond wins the big game. For Keely, we get another classic callback. She walks into the locker room, closing her eyes, pretending not to look, and then being disappointed when everybody's dressed. She did that in a pilot episode and throughout the show, but I feel like we haven't seen her do that in a while. We also see that the gift that Keely gives to Ted and Beard when they leave is a snow globe, much like the one that she gave to Barbara, and that Barbara collects snow globes when she leaves a job or a place. When Rebecca is having dinner with her mom, she is like, tell Tish, the psychic lady, she's a fraud, yet it's funny that everything the psychic said did come true, because at the end of the finale, Rebecca does get her family and become a mom in various ways. She says that Richmond and the fans are her family, but then she also reunites with that Dutchman and his daughter, together. We see that they are together at one of Higgins' barbecues, so if they end up together for a long time, she is now a stepmom. Now in the finale episode, we see Colin's boyfriend pick up his tickets under the name Wynonna Judd, which is a callback to Ted saying that he leaves tickets for people under the names of country singers, and Roy gets his ticket, in that same season 2, under Reba McEntire's name. And then remember how Roy went to coach Phoebe's soccer team after he retired? I kind of feel like that's what Ted coaching Henry at the end reminds me of. Also, Ted brings back his classic goldfish advice, and we have Henry wearing number 9, which is Jamie Tartt's number. Now, Isaac sitting in his chair collecting fees dressed as a judge very much reminds me of when he dressed as Santa during the Christmas episode. And we see other familiar faces pop out throughout this finale. Rupert brings back Coach Kartrick to coach against Ted in that finale game, so we see Ted coaching against the man whose job he took over, and yes, Kartrick has his, unfortunately, little shorts. We also see, of course, Sassy. We have Barbara, we have Higgins' wife and his kids. Dr. Sharon returns as she cheers on the team from her room, but also ends up coming to AFC Richmond to be the head of mental health and emotional well-being, and she still has Ted's little green army man. As fans start to enter the stadium, we see a lot of neighborhood familiar faces, including Shannon, the girl that Ted often kicks the ball around with. If there's an AFC Women's Richmond team spinoff, could she be in it? We also have this old guy from the neighborhood. We have the cute little couple that broke the fourth wall in season 2, episode 5, telling us about their love story. And we see John and his fiance. That's the guy that Rebecca had a few dates with previously. We see that the 2 women Danny Rojas woke up with in season 2, episode 1 after his scary Greyhound dream are still with him at this wedding. And we also have the couple with their baby from Beard's solo episode. When Beard got his pants fixed by the lady and then her boyfriend or husband came home and started to chase him. It's that couple. We also see that Beard's wearing those pants from that episode in the wedding scene. We also have the Ussie kid. He was in the pilot taking a pic with Ted on the plane, and then in the finale at the airport, he actually knows Ted's name and asks again for an Ussie. Speaking of the Greyhound, we see the Greyhound in the finale. He has a little helmet on and hides when it's time for the team to take a penalty kick because he doesn't want to end up how Earl did back in season 2, episode 1. Now, remember when everyone called Ted a wanker when he arrived, basically at the whole beginning of the series everywhere he went? It's pretty sweet to see everyone in the stadium now calling Rupert a wanker when he gets kicked out. Oh, the tables have turned, right? Someone else left me a comment saying it reminded them of the shame scene from Game of Thrones, which also is pretty funny since Hannah Waddingham, who plays Rebecca, played that shame nun. Now, throughout the last seasons, there have been a lot of Wizard of Oz references. Now, in this finale game, we see Ted wearing red shoes. Reminds me of Dorothy. And then when I talked about the characters and their endings, I mentioned these characters that had, little bits in all the newspapers and magazines. Some people have called them Easter eggs, so we'll just talk about them here. Again, in those magazines and newspapers, we know that Rupert has lost his team. His mistress is going on Love Conquers All, which was the Love Island-like show that Jamie went on. Rupert's ex-wife, Bex, is writing a book. As for Zava's magazine cover, he is coming out of retirement to go play for LAFC, the Los Angeles Football Club. Now, this character has been said to have been modeled after quite a few different players, but the main one being Zlatan, a player who also retired from international play and came out of retirement to play for LA Galaxy. On that same cover, we see that Zorro is going to work with his hero Jean-Claude Van Damme on a movie remake of Escape to Victory. On the cover of Entrepreneur magazine, we see that Shandy's dating app has taken off, and there's also a mention of Jack, Keely's ex-girlfriend and ex-investor, saying that she's no longer Daddy's little girl, so that could kind of be hinting at there's some scandal with Jack, another form of karma. Now, those are all the fun Easter eggs, callbacks, and references that I personally spotted, or a couple of you have mentioned to me. I'm sure there's actually a lot more that I missed or maybe didn't pick up on, so I gotta know, what was your favorite Easter egg that you found? Maybe your favorite Easter egg that I mentioned, and did you catch any that I didn't catch? Let me know all your thoughts down in the comments below, as well as what you'd love to see from Ted Lasso spinoff if that ends up happening. But to see my recap of how Ted Lasso ended and how each character got a happy ending, check out my video over here. After that, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and as always, I'm Lisa. Thanks for listening to me ramble, and I'll see you next time.